Hello.
On the grass and just walk through another gate maybe. I saw you just pass. You just pass by one gate. They doesn't allow to go inside from that gate. Hello. And here. Hello. Yeah.
Thousands of years, music has traveled these lands through songline, echoing across country and through the generations. And now will witness the eastern culmination of ongoing celebrations of the ground on which we perform today. Offering our respect to elders past and present.
But I've been part of most of them. It hasn't been efficient. I want to also welcome all the viewers to the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra's YouTube channel, streaming now across Australia and around the world. How exciting is that? And Ed, sing on stage with this great orchestra, the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra, tonight conducted by the indefatigable Benjamin Northey. It's also something special. Can we have a big hand for the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra? Ed, fascinating. You can feel the love.
Absolutely.
It's incredible. Waves of love coming up towards the musicians and out into the world, into our world, and that's what music does. And this is a special day, as I said, the 50th birthday. And yeah, I think the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra came up front when they decided to call this concert a love letter to ABC Classic. What a beautiful thought.
Absolutely. Mary, it's a love letter to everything. I think it's also Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's
Happy
Day.
Valentine's Day.
If you're here on a date, good for you. If you're expecting a date, even better for you. Good luck. Now, speaking of love, Mary, of music being the food of love, I hope that you're all really, really hungry because we have a bank of Australian music for you. It's a completely Australian evening. Some music is quite old, some of it is very, very new, and you're going to have a world premiere this evening as well. It's a completely Australian feast we have for you today.
It's really fascinating, and you'll find this fascinating, to see what inspiration Australian composers have taken over the decades, well before ABC Classic began in 1976 in fact, in the early 20th century. We're really jumping over the decades tonight, right up to the present, with a new love letter from a brand new work in fact, commissioned especially for this concert. We'll tell you more about that shortly. But yes, composers have turned to inspiration for our beautiful bushland, our natural fauna and flora, to the glorious oceans that surround this continent, you name it, even to small towns in regional Australia. Well, to begin, we're going to hear two works by Nigel West. Any Westlake fans here? Wooden Ships. And then please welcome Ben Northey to the stage. Thanks, everyone.
unfortunately, you can't be sitting here, so...
No worries. Yeah. Excuse me. May I sit here? Thank you.
Wonderful playing from Slava Gregorian. Thank you, Slava. Hands up who actually some music, some big, some small composers all over the country of this piece. Hello. Hello. Thank you so much for this piece. It's an extraordinary addition to the repertoire. Can you tell us the story behind this piece?
Thank you. So good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. I started composing this work, which is titled My Heart on Yours, at the start of November last year. I had recently returned home from a very expansive 4-month adventure overseas, during which I formed a wonderful connection with somebody that opened my heart to love in a way that I had not experienced for quite some time. Yes.
Yes. Great.
Happy Valentine's Day. And in this connection, I was reminded of how much we can learn about ourselves in the loving presence of somebody else and just how beautiful that experience can be. So, of course, I returned home to Australia with that tender ache in my heart, and I allowed myself to surrender to the memories, to the nostalgia, to the longing, to the gratitude. And that's where the initial themes, in harmony and melody for this work came about.
Wow, that's very powerful already, Ella. Go on, what's the next bit?
So then, one of my closest friends gave birth to her first child, which brought the sisterhood together in the most powerful, extraordinary way. And the title of the work really shifted to this beautiful innocence, this fragility, this visual image of a young child, a baby, resting gently on its mother's chest, and that instinct to protect what is fragile, that love that comes without hesitation, without question, and it's completely unwavering and endless.
So once again, that feeling of My Heart on Yours, the title of this new piece. Level, much more profound level to this piece as well. Can you tell us about this?
So, as we know and we see far too often, the world moves very much present in Bondi Beach exactly 2 months ago to the date, on the 14th of December, when horror struck. And my experience was one of being exceptionally close to everything unfolding. And over those 7 minutes of enduring what I can only describe as the most harrowing series of sounds I've ever heard in my whole life, I carried from that moment a deep sense of grief and fear that I can't actually put into words what that felt like to integrate in the days and the weeks and the months that have followed. But I was about 5 days out from ideally completing this new work that we're hearing tonight. And as an artist who's so inspired by the world around me and what's happening to me personally,